What's up, you guys? Back today with another tie-in video. There's probably going to be more tie-in videos now that we're into the winter and more of the winter months. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to get out to the river based on road conditions. Still going to try to make it out as much as I possibly can, but there might be a few more tie-in videos for you guys. Okay, so the fly that I have for you today, I call the Ugly Waltz. And it's kind of a cool fly because it's a combination of the Sexy Waltz worm and kind of a streamer. So basically what this is a Sexy Waltz worm with a Coq de Leon marabou tail. And it's a fly that I kind of stumbled upon because I had some extra feathers laying around and I was kind of trying to figure out what I could use them for. And I thought this might be kind of a fun combination. So what's cool about this fly is it's a waltz worm, right? Which is like a caddis larva or something like that, right? With a tail, so it can kind of double as a nymph or as like a fry pattern, right? It's got that shine on it that looks a little bit like a bait fish, and that tail profile is really cool. That marabou on the Coq de Leon feathers is super awesome. It kind of holds its shape under the water. It moves really well. It's a little bit different than your standard marabou, and I really like it. So that's kind of the story behind this fly, and to be honest, you guys, it's caught some of the biggest fish for me over the last year and a half or so that I've been using this fly, and it's one that I'm pretty stoked to bring you guys. I'm hoping you'll get out on the water and give it a try. It's kind of a ridiculous looking fly, but you got to trust me on this one and try it out. So I'm gonna jump in the water using that fly and see if we can catch some fish today on that pattern. So let's give it a try. Okay, here we go. There's a fish. Jeez. Just a little white fish, but he ate the Sexy Waltz right there. A white fish ate the Ugly Waltz. There's a fish. That's a rainbow. Show them to you guys. You can see that Ugly Waltz right there in the corner of his mouth. Nice little rainbow trout. Let him go. Switching the dry dropper to just 2 nips just to get a little deeper and see if that changes anything. There's a fish. He ate the Ugly Waltz. Pink-bead Ugly Waltz. Another fish. Oh. There's a fish. Big old white fish. Yeah, see him? He ate the Ugly Waltz too. Let him go. There he goes. Hilarious. There's a fish. Little white fish. But ate the Ugly Waltz. Okay, so you guys saw me catch some fish there. It's kind of a slow day, but that's okay. Some days on the water are like that. So I'm gonna show you guys how to tie that fly now. In the vise, I have a Purdy jig hook here. It's a size 14. I like to tie this fly in a 14 and 12. And then I have a metallic pink Hannock 3.5mm tungsten bead. Just using some olive thread. The color of the thread doesn't really matter that much because it's all getting covered up. Just gonna start that thread. Run it all the way back to where the barb would be. Now I have a whole pelt of Coq de Leon, but you can see down here at the bottom there's these feathers that have marabou at the bottom, and on the side of this there's a whole bunch of this like marabou here, and each feather has some at the bottom as well. So that's kind of the material we're using for the tail. So you can see I have one of those feathers here. I'm gonna take quite a bit of this, like one whole side, and pinch it, and just peel it off. And then in my hand, I've kind of preened it back like this. And I want the tail to be about 1.5 times the length of the body. I'm just gonna come in, pinch wrap, secure that, check the length of the tail, that looks about right. And then we're just gonna kind of wrap forward over this to really lock it in. And then I'm gonna come in with my scissors and trim off all that extra junk. Make sure that bead is on there right. Secure that down a little bit. Okay. Come back. Just like that. You can see the shape of that tail. Looks just like a bait fish tail. I think it works really well. Secure those. Okay, now we've got some, this is Mirage opal tinsel that we're going to use to rib the body. Get a little bit of that. Tie it in on the side closest to me. I've got a piece of 6X tippet that I'm going to capture. Wrap both of those back. The tippet is going to counter wrap the ribbing so that when the fish's teeth are taking their toll, the fly is a little bit more durable. So now I've got some squirrel dub here. You could use hare's ear. I like this natural fox squirrel. And I'm just gonna dub on a rope of this and just kind of do a tapered body forward, just like if you were doing a traditional sexy waltz worm or a waltz worm. This is the combination of those flies in a little bit of a bait fish fry pattern. Okay, so now we've got that. Now we're going to take our ribbing and we're going to wrap that away from us, just like this, just like you would a sexy waltz. Capture that a couple times. Come in and trim that off. Now we're going to take our tippet and go the opposite direction. Capture that. Just like that. Now trim off that extra tippet. A couple more securing wraps in there. Take a little bit more of your dubbing and cover up all that at the beginning. Now I do like to use super glue on this one on the thread because it tends to get beat up over a lot of use. So we'll just do a couple of whip finishes. And that is your finished sexy waltz worm. I tie it at the silver bead, copper bead, but the pink bead is kind of the original. I like it, works well. Get out there on the water and fish it, and let me know how it works for you.